Hello, hi there, it's me, it's Dave, or the Jaded Rabbit. God bless you. Thank you for joining along for another live stream. Yes, we are currently 5 or so days away from season 7, the release of a new season which will reset everything inside of Invasions. And the question is, will they be changing how stats work, how boosters work, how herbs work? These are all very important things that you can acquire through your gameplay when using a turbo controller. Yeah, not even a minute in. I'm glad I got that turbo controller part out, because there's no other way that you can play Mortal Kombat 1 unless you have a turbo controller. And I guess instead of like a longer spiel of why this game sucks, I'm going to say real friends don't let other friends play MK1. Like, why? I don't think that you should play MK1. MK1 is terrible. Absolutely terrible game. And I think if you want an experience of Mortal Kombat, there's like other like games. MK Deception, MK Armageddon, MK11, just MKX, MK9. There's a lot of other better MK games compared to this one. So, that being said, I I do think that you should not be playing this game, and you should get a turbo controller. You can see that I'm level 1153 this season. I haven't gone super extra. I think I'm only like just below level 500 on the seasonal tower. Yeah, we're at 497. And my Sub-Zero has been significantly boosted, but he's nowhere like my Smoke was last season. Or was it the season before? I don't know. I guess like I played the game more last season. Yeah, I guess like I worked it out, like how much I actually need to play the game. So I've been trying to play the game less and less. But this is a side effect of playing Mortal Kombat, and I think it's important for documentation purposes to note how crazy the numbers can be in terms of elemental resistances being boosted and stat points being boosted. Now, there have been glitches and things that you could have been doing since season 1 to get crazy numbers like this. There were relics that could allow you to change your stat points in season 1. The boosters were completely different in season 1, being 3 times more effective than they are currently in season 6. They used to provide plus 15%. Now they only give you plus 5. And there's a higher chance that you'll get a diluted booster, which only gives you plus 1. But there's a lot of factors here going into these stats and resistances that you should consider using to your advantage in whatever season it may be of Invasions. So I think the best place to start is maybe the elemental resistance. So the elemental type chart, you see this craziness here. You can totally bypass all of it if you just pay attention to boosters. So as you play the game, you will acquire boosters, and boosters are typically dropped by the character that you're facing. So if you're facing, well, that sounds so terrible. What a terrible explanation, Dave. Let's go here. Let's go cuz one of my first recommendations to people this season was to grind this Ermac node to get crown. Now, if you grind Ermac, he'll give you chaos boosters that will give you chaos resistance. If you grind Mania, you will get plasma boosters, which will boost your Mania resistance. She's like the only energy type character. So you definitely have to boost your resistance to Mania. I mean, like, who else is there? Kano? Johnny sometimes? Sometimes. Barely there. But yeah, okay. So we've got, this is the Chaos node. Because you have Ermac. So when you fight Ermac constantly, over and over, I was telling people to fight him with a turbo controller so that you could acquire 1,000 crown every single match. 500 or 1,000 crown every match. But if you do that with a turbo controller and you do that for like a whole day or two, what happens is that you get a lot of chaos boosters and then suddenly you're immune. So if you take a look here, I'm at plus 115% chaos resistance. So what that means is that when I face Ermac, I'm just going to be immune. And understanding immunity is like the most, I would say, important thing of type resistances in this game, because it allows you to ignore so much of the gameplay. Do you see this? All of his attacks are kind of just like, they're not even doing anything. It's only Kano who's hurting me. But all of these chaos attacks, they can't hurt me. And that is because I am sufficiently boosted. Now, if you are using a turbo controller, you can get to full immunity pretty easily if you are hunting for a certain item, whether it be crown or whether it be a component like damage medallions or dragon bloods. You will acquire some sort of resistances, and you can kind of see this in my Sub-Zero here, who I've been grinding against, because the people I've been grinding against are the ones that have been giving me boosters. So I have a 96 plus acid resistance. Now, I already started off with a plus 50, but I got plus 46. I did grind Reptile a lot, but you can also see I haven't really grinded a lot of ice-type characters, because I've only got a plus 10 resistance from boosters. There's a lot of things that you can tell just from looking at these numbers, and screw it. If NRS is watching this video, I know that things will get nerfed. But I just want them to nerf it. Just make this game totally unplayable. I will be okay. I'll be okay if they decide to nerf. Just nerf it. Nerf everything and kill it. This would be good. Good. Just kill the game. So this is really what you should know about the elemental type resistances, is that all of this can be made meaningless if you just grind enough. And once you actually put together a talisman, you can get a lot of these elemental boosters pretty easily from doing just the seasonal tower. So this is where I've been picking up my latest herbs and boosters, is from the seasonal tower. Now, the herbs and boosters that you can get from the seasonal tower are less potent than the ones that you can get from either challenger medallion secret fights from towers. Oh, yes. There's other ways that you can get boosters and herbs. So the other way that you can get boosters and herbs is by going to a tower, using a challenger medallion, which is pretty hard to get, or unlocking the secret fight condition because you're just so smart and you know how to do it. You can get a booster or an herb. And those boosters and herbs that you get from secret fights in towers give you like plus 5... give you 5 stat or 2 stats, because we have the wilted herbs. If you have the regular herbs, you will get plus 2 in categories, or +1 in every category if it's a mixed herb and it's like fully potent. Even those have been nerfed. They added them and then they nerfed them. Why do they do these things? So the other way that you can get herbs and boosters is if you just want to run around aimlessly. I'm just demonstrating what running around's looking like, if you're unaware. Ideally, if you could find like a looping position where you just hold down and it takes you back and forth. No, we can't find one. They've been kind of smart about like things like this and changing camera perspective, so it's kind of harder to find areas where you could cheese. But yeah, I mean, like, you could. Who would really care, though? I still think the best option is to get a talisman together and then go through the seasonal tower, and that will give you herbs and boosts. And I mean, like, where do you want these herbs and boosts? Ideally, you would want to be properly immune to the boss type character. So we are going to be seeing Shang Tsung next season as the boss. So having immunities to fire and or poison would be useful. So having a character like that you could easily boost, that would be great. But I think like in the early game, you're not even thinking about boosters. In the early game, this is my best tip. Don't even think about boosters. Get a gemstones. Now, there is a relic that comes from chests, but sometimes you may not get it. It's called Overload, and it looks like Shokan fingers, which also gives you elemental resistances of increased by 50%. But think about it. If you've got this 50% resistance granted by gemstones, and you're already carrying a natural plus 50% resistance, that plus gemstones equals immunity. Or gemstones plus lots of boosters equals lots of immunities. So I'm immune right now wearing gemstones to acid attacks, chaos attacks, ice attacks, magic attacks. If I killed more Manyas, more Mantaras, and more Manlinas, I would be immune also to, well, energy attacks, blood attacks, and dark attacks as well. Now, it's not necessary to have all of these boosts. And in fact, I think it's worrying considering the current game design. The season tower sucks. I have seen better iterations of the season tower, but when I keep on playing the same tower and it gives me the same modifiers and all of them or most of them are just the same, electric, just a bunch of electric modifiers this season, it feels like it was leftovers from last season. Like, where are all the poison modifiers? That would make sense for a season of Reptile. So it doesn't make sense. Whatever. Like, the elemental resistances are kind of whatever. Get gemstones. I think, like, that's the best tip that I can give you. Get gemstones. Be cognizant of the fact that you're getting boosters from the seasonal tower and wherever you choose to hook up your turbo controller, or script a macro to get crown components, dragon bloods, damage medallions. Because if you use the right character, you can stack all of your boosts on one character, and then you can have crazy stats like this. Which is fun. Like, who doesn't want to be immune to everything in the game? Because the game sucks. Like, I am immune to the bullshit of this game. I can see right through it. But yes. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying before we take a look at the stats. Oh, hello, Sean. An old Madrigal. Okay. I have returned from my vacation. Oh, I hope you had a good one, T8000. Hello, 6310. Love you. Clone Max, your stats with subs are insane. Yes. Are you buying MK1 Year 2 I'm sure Shillinator is going to buy all of the DLC. How could he not be Shillinator then? Okay, so let's go back here. Stats. So what you're seeing here is crazy boosted stats in terms of health, attack, special, defense, and agility. A lot of these stats don't really matter, which is kind of unfortunate. Agility, meaningless. I mean, it might mean more if you're playing with your fingers, but like I said before, you should actively be seeking ways to avoid playing this game with your fingers. Get a turbo controller. Defense. Defense doesn't really matter in a game where goal is trying to get a one-shot kill. I mean, having a talisman that can do killing for you very easily kind of means that defense stats are meaningless. Even in the early game, it's not useful because the smart combination of overload or gemstones relic with an appropriate character can render you immune to whatever opponent you're facing. Plus, there's capsules that you can purchase to also get a temporary plus 50% boost. So yeah, the defense kind of meaningless. The only stats that matter are health, attack, and special. Health is important for situations like survives but like secondarily, because the most important thing for survives is having that immunity, either with capsule or relic or proper choice of character and proper choice of character. Yes. But having high health is useful in those survives when you're facing physical type modifiers. You can be immune to every single element in the game except for physical. Physical attacks will always connect. They will always cause damage because there is no character that is immune to physical. The highest physical resistance that you can have in this game is plus 60. And this is only achievable with a character like Mantara, Geico. And who's the other one? I don't know who the other one is right now. There's three of oh yeah, Havoc. Havoc's totally a bottom. I've seen pictures. So yeah, those three. It's only possible with those three. And because of that, those three characters are typically better than the other characters in the game. At least from a elemental resistance point of view. Because you can achieve full immunity if you waste enough time with a turbo controller grinding. I mean, I did a little bit. You can see here with Sub-Zero, he's actually not weak to fire. That's because I set him to kill Liu Kang. I thought, okay, let me just kill this Liu Kang. God, he's ugly. So, yeah, I got boosters that way. But here's another thing, too, about, like, the plus 60%. You need the proper character, but you also need the proper relic. So when you take a look at a character like Havoc, who was my main for a little bit, he comes naturally with a plus 50% physical resistance. You can get plus 10 if you purchase the right relic. They are pretty rare, but that's why coming to Gateway Portal Collector every single hour is very important. At least when you're playing. After you're done playing, who cares? I don't check anything in this game now. I'm like, oh, it's done? Great. Let me just enjoy life. And that's what I've been doing. But I figured I needed to get this down. I needed to document this because otherwise, like, what if I die? I mean, like, I need to document these things. I need to know because they're gonna nerf things. And I'm quite curious to know if I tell them everything, will they just nerf it? Or do they even care? What are their plans for year 2? Will year 2 just totally remove invasions? Is that truth? Is this what's happening? What's happening? I don't know. I kind of hope nothing changes because I hope it just dies a quiet death. Yes. Okay, lots of morbid death talk, but it's fatality time. So let's go back to Sub-Zero. So here's a fun fact. Much like how elemental boosters drop from corresponding characters, different elemental types will drop different types of herbs. For instance, if you face the Chaos node, you are likely to get defense herbs. And this is why I've been keeping track of this stuff, because I really want to know what drops from what characters or from what types. Similarly, if you face energy type characters, they will drop defense herbs. Prior to this season, they used to drop agility herbs. So the fact that they've changed the type of herb that's being dropped from an elemental type means that NRS is paying attention to this kind of stuff, which is kind of crazy. Like, are they hoping that it brings people in if you can get herbs from these people? Like, who the hell cares? Acquiring herbs and boosters are more so a byproduct, like I said, of grinding for a component, for a talisman. So getting things like health herbs, which come from normal or physical elemental types, or getting attack herbs coming from, I'm actually not sure. There are still some things that I'm not aware of. Getting special herbs comes from fire types. But there is redundancy in, like, which types provide what. Like I said, chaos and energy both drop defense herbs. But, yeah, I'm going to have to do further testing. I mean, like, will they change things for next season? Maybe not. But will they change things once year 2 DLC drops? Maybe, probably. Who knows? I think for next season, things will probably remain the same. It's just 5 days away. But yeah, so having health, useful for some situations, but typically you're going to want to put your points in attack or special. So when you put all of your points in attack, like, that's typically early game strat. Like, that's when you want to kill people with one-shot uppercuts. And I mean, it's kind of like a Pokemon team. Like, who's going to be your most chosen roster of characters to get you through invasions? And for me, it's these characters. Spermac, Mandana, Manlina, Gaiden, Erectile, Come-Zero. So it's just because I get the best offensive hits out of these characters. Their uppercuts deal huge elemental damage, meaning if you put all the points in attack, you will get lots of damage. The only one who does not fit that rule is Gaiden, because he doesn't really have an electric uppercut, but he does have many electric combo strings, which can be used to get lots of damage. There is, I guess, customizability in your choices of characters. Like, instead of using Reptile, you could use Shang. Instead of using Sub-Zero, you could use Rain. You could. It's not, like, the best option. I think, like, where you could get greater variability is your choice of Manlina. She could be replaced by Manya, could be replaced by Kenshi, could be replaced by Smoke. Smoke's a great one. There's a lot of things that you could replace Manlina with, but I've just been using her because I got the pink outfit. And then Mantana, and then Ermac. These are these characters, your chosen roster. These are the ones that you would want to put all your points in attack with. And when you're using a character that's not boosted, you only got 145 points to play with. And they have done nerfs to the archetypes of stat distribution. Overall, they're more balanced and less different, which is not exciting. I don't like that. I like more variability. But you're not really going above 200 in any of these stats if you're not using things like boosters and herbs. But keep in mind, like, why waste your time on boosters and herbs? Everything goes away at the end of the season. But like I said, it's a byproduct. You can get lots of these crazy numbers like 500, 400. 500 health equates to like 25,000 health in the match. But I think the most important stat in the late game, like we're talking, when I say like early game, that's like before you beat the final boss. Before you beat the final boss, you're going to want to have your points in attack or health for those survives as you're going through them if you need the health. But special is where you want to have all your points in, especially when you have a talisman that you can get for the Titan battle, to get you through the Titan battle, to get you through the seasonal tower. That's when you want all of the special, because it seems like talismans do more damage the higher your special is. It's not noticeable if you're using points below 200, but definitely comparing Sub-Zero's effectiveness to other characters who aren't quite as boosted, it's noticeable. So let's go here. And let's just toot. $351.94. Lots of death. Do you see the death? Okay. Amusing, right? Okay. So let's take a character who is not boosted. It does less damage. 49.54. That is quite a difference in damage. It's the same talisman. The only thing that's different are the stats. And this is where I think it's so important to know that you do need to use your special for something. A lot of people play the game going with just attack points. But once you get that talisman working, you need to put the points in special. That's also kind of why I was grinding Liu Kang, and you could do this against other fire-type characters, at least for this season. Who knows if it changes for next season. But fire-type characters drop the special herb, and having more special to do more damage with your talisman, it allows you to bypass some of the nerfs that they have acquired along the way. Talismans, you can put less and less damage medallions on them as the seasons go by. Who knows what's going to happen next season with talismans. So being able to complement the talisman with appropriate boosted special stats means that you can get lots of damage. So let's go back to Sub-Zero, because I mean, this is why I like the practice, because the practice shows you the numbers. But I feel like it's not good enough. They could have made this practice better by allowing you to add modifiers, to change your opponent, to there's also no elemental effects. You don't see elemental resistances here. which is unfortunate. I don't like it. So it actually does so much damage that you can't hear the fatal blow sound. You know that? Like, theoretically, the damage is supposed to go down and trigger the fatal blow, a sound effect to let you know that the fatal blow is available, but... Oh, it's making the sound. Oh, see, like, game's so inconsistent. There's so many glitches. Oh, see? Okay. Wow. What on earth? Okay. All right. So crazy. So crazy. So that's basically, I think, like, all you really need to know about these stats, boosters, and herbs. Early game, choosing the proper character, getting gemstones, putting your points in attack. This is going to allow you to achieve immunity and one-shot kills. Pretty good. I think, like, the question of using things like gemstones or overload plus the proper choice of character only really matters for maybe minor bosses, major bosses, final bosses. Boss characters. Every other node, you could probably just steam through it using whatever character you want. But I like a typical, like, I don't like the typical way. I like more finesse. I need it to be finesse. Even if this game is so stupid, like, I still want to do things like properly type my choices against the opponent, having the proper elemental type. So yeah, early game, like, before you beat the final boss, getting the attack maxed out, putting all your points in attack. The other thing, though, is that if you are using something like gemstones or even overload, is to beware of the requirements. You might need to put in like 20 points into defense or a little bit into defense or in health in order to use those relics. Yeah, just keep that in mind. But I would say after that, then you would want to make sure that all along the way, whenever you're grinding with the turbo, that you're doing it all on one character. You could be grinding with turbo with multiple characters, but I think the approach that I've taken here with Sub-Zero, doing all of the grinding on one character, allows you to achieve more immunities, more crazy damage, because all of the herbs and boosters are going on one character. If you spread them out, like I used to spread them out, used to put some on Sindel, used to put some on Havoc, that's just not good enough. This is really more potent, more powerful, and I think that's what everyone should be trying to do. Like, F those people who say, like, do triple uppercut flawless brutality for XP. Because that's dumb. Or, like, F those people who are like, ooh, I'm going to waste hours in the Titan battle trying to press buttons. Like, no, that's literally dumb. That's time wasting. I don't know how people do these things. But I just refuse. So sorry. So yeah, late game, you don't really get to choose where you put your points or your herbs or whatever. They just kind of come as they come. But choosing to face opponents with more special herbs drops is going to be like the long-term goal. So facing someone like Liu Kang or Scorpion, these characters will give you more special herb and will make your talismans more powerful. So I think, like, yeah, that's it. I think that's it. I think I've documented everything that I wanted to document for posterity. If you have questions, let me know. I think that this was pretty clear. If not, join the fam. I make tons of secret vids, and I have made multiple vids like this for my brothers and sisters prior. But they were usually named something like Ed Boon's Drag Race or Steffi Brown backed me or something. So like I wanted to like really make one with an appropriate title this time. But yeah, herbs, boosters, use them. They're good. Hey. Hey, Gwen Stefani. Brownback. I was just talking about you. I was looking forward to using a different character next season, but looks like Sub-Zero is best again. Maybe Takeda will have some good resistance. Well, okay, so I can't take credit for the idea. Shout out to 6310. Love you, 6310. But 6310 was telling me about what about Shang for next season? If you have to face Shang Tsung as a boss, well, shouldn't you be using your own Shang Tsung? Because your own Shang Tsung can be immune to both acid and fire, because he comes equipped with the resistances. It would require using physical type attacks to win the match. But, I mean, like, how hard is that? Let's see. Let's see. Does he have physical type attacks? I'm sure he does. Most characters do. Oh, yeah. Look at this. He's got tons. Wait, am I... Wait, both forms, young form... This is confusing. Oh, okay. That's fun. That's easy. Yeah, so I'll just take Shang Tsung next season, put on Gemstones or Overload, and we'll just do a lot of these kickies. Yeah, crazy times. Am not really looking forward to next season, but I know that whatever comes in the future, I'm gonna be able to take it on, as long as they just don't change anything. But even if they do, I'm sure their stupid system will be easily deciphered. But yeah, like I really wanted to make this video because I had a lot of questions asking me, why are you cheating? How are you cheating? How did you get those boosters? How did you get those numbers? Well, this is how. Get a turbo controller. No, I'm not cheating. But yeah, lovely times. Hopefully you had fun with me. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. Or leave a dislike. Or get the hell out of here. Live stream's over. We'll be making another live stream sometime soon today. But yeah, if you're, like I said, if you really enjoy this stuff, if you want all the information, join the fam. You get access to all of my builds, secrets, glitches, family only events. If you want this and more, please do join. Would be lovely to have you. Much love to all of my brothers and sisters, but huge love to Joey. Love you, Joey. Thank you for being here. And also love you, Sean. Love you, Sean. But yeah. Crazy times. So I hope this was clear. If you have questions, let me know. But until next time, I'm praying that you stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Bye, my friends. Take care. Peace. Love you guys.